Hey sports fans, we're back, and today we're here with an unguardable wide receiver who just lost his Hall of Fame quarterback, but should still continue his own march towards Canton. That wideout's name is Michale Thomas. A year removed from setting the NFL single-season record in receptions and gained a league-leading 1,725 yards, which helped him plant his flag as the league's best receiver, Michale Thomas has made himself a household name and one of the standards in the NFL at his position. Today we're going to look at the insane diet and exercise of this 28-year-old wideout so we can show you just what goes into being the best at his position and at least one interesting trick he used to do. But before we dive into all that good stuff, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on this channel and some of the best videos on the web. All done? Alright, let's go. Since coming into the league in 2016, all Michale Thomas has pretty much done is raise the bar of young wide receivers to levels we haven't seen before. A polished wideout coming out of Ohio State who never had a 1,000-yard season in college, but displayed the elite work ethic and prototypical stud 6'3", 210 frame that you want your wide receiver to have. Thomas also came into the league with a hunger to succeed and hit the ground running. By the time Thomas entered training camp, he'd already taken his game to another level. But how did Thomas go from the 6th wide receiver selected to the rookie franchise leader in receiving yards, receptions, and touchdowns? And also, how does Michale Thomas continue to improve? Let's find out. The first rule about Michale Thomas's workouts is that Michale Thomas doesn't talk about his workout and keeps them and his trainers a secret. Seriously. Try and find Michale Thomas talking about what he does to exercise or train. But with a little luck and a lot of research, we were able to find out enough about Michale Thomas's exercise and diet to let you know pieces of how the dude gets down when he's not out there on Sundays. So, piecing together Michale Thomas's workout routine might be a bit of a puzzle, but from what we do know, Michale has tricks up his sleeve to improve his game. When your uncle's former Pro Bowl NFL wideout Keyshawn Johnson, you may have a leg up on the competition when it comes to training. Thomas says he learned a ton from his uncle about preparing to be a top-level NFL wide receiver. One of the most impactful lessons he got from his uncle was to put in the work. Whether it's his releases or his routes or his footwork or explosion, put in the work. And that's what Michale Thomas did and continues to do. The core of Thomas's preparation is to fix mistakes and work on areas that need improving. So Mike does hear your criticisms, but be careful, this beast only uses it to get better. One of these criticisms is that Thomas is a receiver that could only run the slant. Sure, Michale Thomas could run the slant and he's as dangerous as they come with it, but Michale also has a route tree arsenal that he punishes defensive backs with on the regular. So what if the slant just happens to be his most deadly route? Like many of his other elite wide receiving peers with tireless work ethics, Thomas matches his receiving gifts with a fire to be great. Thomas is said to practice his routes, including his dreaded slants and comebacks, as much as 5 times a week. And not only does he practice his route tree, he does it until he can pretty much do it in his sleep. He works on variations in his routes from the initial movement until the catch to keep defensive backs on their toes. Mike's aim is to make sure his different releases don't give away which route he's running, as he knows that's fundamentals 101 for his position. Since coming into the league, Mike has been instructing defensive backs on the first rule of guarding Michale Thomas. You can't guard Michale Thomas. Well, that's at least what it would seem by his level of dominance, and of course his Twitter handle, Can't Guard Mike. So far in his 5 years, he hasn't been a liar, as many people have not been able to slow him down. On top of having the best routes and releases in the game today, Michale Thomas is also a very physical receiver. Don't believe me? Look what happens when any defensive back tries to jam him at the line of scrimmage or hand fight with him. Let's just say it usually doesn't go well for the other guy. As one of the stronger receivers in the NFL, Mike Thomas likes to make sure he stays that way. We told you having an uncle in the game has its perks. Michale Thomas is also able to enlist the aid of fellow Ohio State alum Chris Carter when he needs a little advice. Keyshawn and Chris let Michale Thomas in on a little secret that Thomas won't let us in on, but it does involve him doing hand stretches and hand yoga in order to strengthen his hands, which comes in handy in contested catch situations or on those quick slants when Breeze, or now Taysom, or Jameis throws to him. The hand exercises also extend the length of Thomas's hand. The part of the exercise he did not let us in on is that he gets his knuckles massaged out and that all the stretching eventually makes his hands grow larger. Sounds crazy, but Mike's hand size used to be 10.5 inches, but then when he had his hand measured by ESPN Sports Science crew, his hand size came out to 10.625 inches. That may not seem like a lot, but it is, trust me. Guys drop in the draft for as much, and the prospect of someone like Mike with his gigantic mitts and extremely low drop rate having hands that are getting bigger is frightening. Thomas says he gets his hands exercised often and they just keep growing and growing. Thomas's hand strength is one of the first things Peyton notices in Thomas's rookie camp. It's something defensive backs are well aware of after Michale Thomas's 2 All-Pro seasons. Michale Thomas has some of the best hands in the game, but enough about them. His routes and his hands make him a go-to number 1 wide receiver, but it's his deceptive speed that makes him a true alpha receiver. Thomas could stretch the field if he needs to, or he could beat you quickly, hence the slant hate he gets, but he's also deadly with the hitch and the comeback. When Thomas's combine time had him at 4.57 seconds, his Ohio State Pro Day had him as low as 4.43 seconds. It's tough to trust Pro Day times, and although Thomas is fast enough to occasionally score long touchdowns, he is not a burner and is probably closer to his combine time than his Pro Day. We may not know Michael Thomas specifics when it comes to his workout, but we do know that Mike gets with his speed coach and takes his speed workouts to the track where his coach runs him through a gambit of exercises that have shown results like Thomas's hand yoga. In 2018, Thomas was criticized for not having the speed to help the Saints stretch the field and beat faster corners. In 2019, Michael Thomas started including speed work into his workout routine, and all it did is help Thomas lead receivers in yards after catch. Thomas's go-to route may be a slant, and while some of his peers like Devontae Parker take jabs at him for running this route so much, it helped the Saints wideout account for a ridiculous 91 first downs. When it comes to Thomas's explosion and leaping ability, we did get a glimpse into one of the secretive wide receiver exercises, and it was wild. Thomas, with a band that doubles as his back support, does a seated squat with an eye-popping 12 plates attached to the cable and his belt. When you hear about a linebacker or a defensive lineman or maybe even a running back, it's not so crazy to hear someone being able to do any kind of squat with 540 pounds. But for a wide receiver, that's very impressive and puts him in freaks like DK Metcalf and Julio Jones territory. While Thomas has been keeping his workouts a secret, he's also been keeping just how strong he is a secret. And the answer is very. Maybe he let this video out so he could flex. With exercise comes diet, and when it comes to Michael Thomas's diet, you guessed it, he won't talk about it either. If you guys don't believe this either, do me a favor and find Michael Thomas talking about his diet, or his workout for that matter. Privacy is his game, something reporters learned long ago. Luckily for us, even though most people know Mike is tight-lipped when it comes to his workouts and diet, they still ask him questions. The Saints' two-time pro did tell an interviewer that he eats clean and changed his diet to maintain a healthy playing weight while still being able to add on muscle. Diet change was one of the areas he deemed needed some improvement. One of the details, as he calls it, is that you have to pay attention to it if you want to be the best at what you do. Michael pays attention to the details of the cornerbacks and defenses he faces, as well as his route manipulations and the timing on his routes. So while Michael might not let us know the details of what he does, we know his routine and desire to be on top is why he's been so great since entering the league. After a down 2020 year due to injuries, Michael Thomas will look to rebound in 2021 to show the NFL world that he is still the best at what he does. Alright, sports fans, that does it for our time on Saints All-World wideout Michael Thomas and his exercise and diet. Michael Thomas is in his prime and about as dominant as they come, and we're sure he will stay among the league's best for years to come. The question is, in those years, will Michael Thomas let us in on the full recipe and not just dashes of the work he puts in? If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on this channel. That's it for today, sports fans. Until next time.